Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. It is 10 p.m. time now, and today's date is the 7th of August, 2019. Welcome to the program. I am the Happy Healer, your president, Democratic president for the nomination. And I've been coming on and working this campaign hard each time, and I'm doing my very best at garnering the audience and the attention that the times really demand. Think about the times that we're in. It's absolutely essential that somebody steps up and do these things, and I'm not seeing any other American do them. So here I am. You can say what you want about this candidacy, but you better believe we are in epic times, and that's why I am here stepping up doing this work, because nobody else is doing it, and in the face of nobody else doing it, somebody must. And it just so happens that I would make a great candidate. So that's why we have been at this for so long, and we are not giving up, and nor will we ever, because there is nobody else doing this stuff. It's so important. So folks, we're going to get things started off. I want to show to you just a quick short 1.5-minute video. This is the opener for today, and then longer we have another video I'm going to be showing you, and that'll be a little bit later in the program. It already exists. It's not just theory. It's now fundamental science. And the Chinese are doing it, and they're working on quantum computing, which itself is, with artificial intelligence, a new industry. It's so powerful and strong, it'll bring a new industry. That science refers to as the singularity, which is no less a theory than any other probable theory. Well, the world is getting smarter and smarter, while America possesses the capacity to outdo them all. It's slowly moving like molasses in an area of national security, while China is moving so fast and so rapid, it's putting out 5G and electrical buses, while we're pulling people out of their homes and into factories when robots could be doing that work, and we could be better for it. They should be home and pursuing a purpose that gives value to their human being. This adds value to the very human soul, and in so many ways, that alone has a monetary value. Humanity working for humanity and out of love is very powerful. And when you show you care, it opens the door for solving serious issues. However, one must be very pragmatic and have a clear sense. I do. And that is why I am most qualified to be your next president. Vote for your Happy Healer Keith Landi for President of the United States of America. And I will take good care of all of our families' needs. My name is Keith Landi for President of the United States. Get involved. Do your part. Let's not have a reason to be sorry. Let's have a reason to be grateful. God bless you. God bless your families too. And may God bless these United States of America. Good night. All right. Awesome. So that's the opener. And the situation is the same, essentially, since the last time that I spoke to you. We have the not the school shootings, but the mass shootings. May as well be school shootings. There's so many of them. It's hard to even keep track of everything. And that's the problem, because we just have so much hell in this world. And when you have so much hell, there's a lot of hell to pay into. So that's where we're at. We're going to have to get and moving forward, by the way, I've been working on so many different programs, and I'm also working on so many different objectives, and there's a bunch of them. Right now, I'm still working on selling my home, and just getting the basic things done with that's hard because of the kinds of problems that we run into as Americans with greed. When you don't have much, what you're trying to work with what you do have, and you have to be so careful about that. And I have so many programs that I'll be putting out in relation to my experience in this world. I think that's important, not just to the presidential run, but to the human condition. I was at a meeting this evening talking to a gentleman about helping him with some transportation he needs that he is doing. And I'm really good at that. I've been doing transportation for 20 years and business in general, and I'm very familiar with how it works. And so a lot of people, they rely on me for that, and I'm always willing to help in whatever way I can. And so that was very fun. And that's one of the reasons why I wasn't here a little bit earlier. For those of you who have been waiting today, I do apologize. You know that I would be much quicker to get on if it was something that was easier for me to do. Right now, everything is a challenge. And it's just a challenge when you're running for president, which I'm not complaining, it's great. But I am asking for your understanding. Very important, because you have to realize your happy healer for president, he's working all by himself in so many areas where these other candidates have unbelievable amounts of help. And that's fine. Let them have all that help. They don't even run their campaigns. Other people tell them what to do, how to say it, when to say it, what they should say, what you want to hear, and then they just simply repeat this stuff. That's it. They're just repeating stuff. So that is all that they will ever do, and they're never going to care. Their biggest care is basically for themselves. They want to see themselves achieve this great accomplishment of becoming president. I think it's very empty when you look at it like that. I'm not even interested. It's not my goal. My goal is to help Americans, the individual, the spirituality in this country. I realize that when people are running from other countries coming here, I get that. I realize that the hell that people run from, and that if you're an American, you don't have anywhere to run to. Isn't that so sweet? And that your own brethren, they forget you. That you don't have the option to run to some other country and claim asylum from America. But yet in some cases, it's really that bad for some people. They can't do anything to get out of their situation. And, some of you say, well, just give in. Do it like how everyone else does it. Be part of the problem. The problem is great. They love their problem. They love their greed. They love it being just the way it is. But let me tell you, my fellow Americans, that is the wrong answer. The right answer is to follow people and to follow the ways that people do when they follow their hearts and their passion. They know they're doing the right thing. Not to just give in and do what's easier. Jeez. We can't do things like that and expect that everything's going to just work out well. It doesn't. Not when you do things like that, folks. So you've seen there's a lot of, in just the opener that we had, there's a lot of flashing pictures and everything like that. It's because that stuff is really what the campaign is about. That's me. That's where we have been through this campaign, and only a small portion of it. While we go forward, we'll be sharing some things you have not yet seen. And again, I'm up against with this house, so I'll be sharing with you a lot on that. And I haven't shared so much about the house except for to some different supporters on the side and just giving kind of insider information. But I'm getting there more where we're going to be sharing that whole story. And there's also another story that I want to be talking about in the future, and I can mention it now, and I'll be putting some media out on it. And that is when I was victimized in my own home. That's right. That's how Americans do. I couldn't even talk about this for a whole year because I'm the happy healer, and I've essentially been the happy healer for a long time. I've been helping people for so long, and I've had people in my home, and I just want to do a call out. If any, Brenda, how's it going? Yeah, you're not getting a good feed. I hope it's better now. Let me know if it's working better for you. I know that this feed on my side is great. And, but yeah, so we have a lot of people that are just not getting a fair handshake. And so as the happy healer, I help people. I bring them into my home. Some of you remember that not even about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I had a family over for 10 days. That was very taxing on me because they were fighting in my house. And I have more on that coming out too. They actually, the guy was not really very nice to his wife, and I had to talk to him a couple of times. I don't want to get too much into that, but that's the thing. People are themselves, and especially in this neighborhood, they're just going to be themselves. That's all they've ever been. They don't know how to be anything else. And we have to teach and show people the kindness. We expect them to be kind, but we don't give them any of the tools to do that. We don't give them the understanding. We don't give them a fair handshake. You have no idea what somebody else is going through. You have no idea what I am going through. You look at my face, you look at the way I talk and the things I can do. That is all through hard work. That is through making so many sacrifices and never giving up. It doesn't come easy. And people that they do things and they just don't care. They look at you and they say, well, the hell with you then. So quickly they just write you off. And you know that that's not the right thing to be doing. And we see so much of that happening in our country. So in this campaign, we're addressing it. Guys, it's a beautiful thing. We are addressing it. You know, in the last cast, I lost part of my tooth because I'm working so hard. And it's not that it was the hard work that did it. It's because I'm not getting health care. I don't have any dental. I don't have health care, folks. I don't have health care. I'm just like millions of Americans that don't have health care. And the Obamacare never worked for me because I don't fall in line with a traditional way of survival in this country, part of the slave labor force, where you don't get to live out your fate. And I would rather live and die young and die early and live out my fate, do God's work so far as long as I can do it until just the gas runs out on it, and that's it. That's all life can provide. And a lot of people, they live just like that. And, you know, this idea of giving in to the idea of just being ugly, well, because that way works, it's not acceptable. So we have to figure out how to survive, but be good people doing it. Now, we can have capitalism. I was telling that to the gentleman who I met this evening, and it was about transportation, not about this run. Although we spoke more about my presidential run, you might be watching now. How are you doing, if so? Than we did about the transportation. And he was bringing up some very interesting points about conservatism and the human condition and how people are just kind of caught in that human condition. The idea I mentioned many different things about my campaign, but the thing that he nailed on to, and he said, you're making a lot of great points, Keith. And what I really am thinking about is when you mentioned the greed, which I know a lot of people that hear that because it is so true. And he said, you know, that's part of the human condition. And if you intend on addressing that, you have to be aware that some people can't get that out of them because it's the human condition. And it's more or less what he was saying. He put it just like that. And the thing is you have that. It's so true. And that's sort of how America has been able to succeed, by using capitalism. But also in the last 20 years, capitalism has held us back in so many ways, hasn't it? And I say hasn't it, not for you to agree out of the middle of nowhere. Let's have reasons for this. It's been holding us back because we have been unable to move forward in a technological way like we should have. We have seen parents go from working one job 50 years ago to now having to work two jobs and work more hours, 40 to 80 hours. And that they get resentful because they know that it doesn't have to be like that. And so I was explaining that to him, and he realized that. And I said, ultimately speaking, that when you gift somebody a life worth living, that it makes a big difference for all of us. That means even the guy who's driving to work now and every day working so hard, and he gets jealous when he thinks of the idea that why should somebody else get a free handshake in life when they had to work so hard? Jealousy is a bad thing. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. Nobody ever gets anywhere with jealousy. And if you're an entrepreneur, you know that when you made it or when you started to make it, all of your family and friends and people became jealous of you. And there's just a bad thing about that. And it's very ugly even when you do get successful to see other people not be able to have any form of success, or that they don't have the talent maybe. I mean, the system is it leaves so many people behind. And that greed is not always there for everyone. So that's what I say about the greed, is it leaves too many people behind, and that's how it holds us back. How can we go forward? It'll be better for the people that are already doing well if everybody's doing well. It creates a super consumer in America, and it makes people afforded the opportunity to live their fate. And when the people that are not doing so well are doing better, man, they owe humanity itself a life worth living back. And they give it back and they're living for humanity, and they're driving in their passions and doing the things that matter most to humanity. We're all in this together. If we fail, we fail together. And the fact that we are not united is a national security crisis, because while we're fighting our civil war, we're not meeting the needs and the demands of our time. That the technological future we're talking about, that China's actually going into, that we're not prepping for, that's not our truth. That's the entire world's truth. That is history. The way it's playing out. That is just the truth of God, if you ask me. This is His world. It's His science. And so many people are afraid of that. And I say, have faith in the world that God put forward for us. Have faith. And then we can all go into it together, and we can all succeed together, and we can all do well. And then we don't have to see, when we're doing well, other people dying on the streets. Imagine how much more improved your life would be, and that life itself would be less dangerous. Because when you have people out there that they're getting such an unfair handshake, it only makes sense that some of those people are going to lose it. They're going to become so resentful, so hateful, that it overtakes their movement, their body, their actions. By definition, they are not crazy, but they may as well be. And that people are driving them to that. It doesn't have to go there. That love can work. Now, today it's a bit difficult for me to talk, though, because that's what happens when you have medical issues. And I have this tooth issue. I have no dental. I have no health care. Shit on me, right? Piss on my back. Tell me it's raining. It's just fine. And not just me, so many other people too. And it's sad. It's really sad. I got emotional during the last cast. And, I kind of had to end it a little bit early. And I'm going to put that together in like another piece of art or another piece of material for the campaign, because it shows exactly what's at stake. It shows what is at stake. And you guys, we can't just keep picking these candidates that don't care about us and expect to have a better life. Yeah, so this snaggletooth is what I call it, because it catches onto the side of my mouth, and it grabs this side of my cheek and makes it difficult for me to talk. Is that fair? Oh yeah, it's fair, Keith, because you didn't have the money to pay for the dentist. Had you been a good worker slave, then you would have the money. Well, I got news for you. Even then you wouldn't, because you don't make enough. That's the sad trap they put you in, folks. So many people working so hard, and they still can't have their teeth done. Wow, so sad. When it's so easy. It's just like LASIK surgery. It takes 10 minutes, all of 10 minutes to perform. And yet you've got to toil and work for 10 years in order to afford it. This is unfair, folks. We are human beings and we matter. But yet everything around us shows us that we don't matter. It's wrong. And we can have it so much better. We're too afraid to do the things that we're supposed to be doing, like ushering in the technological age. We realize that we're not supposed to be working off the other backs of other Americans, that they work and then some don't work and some... No. It's like this. You're a human being. We are in the future. We have got technological abilities to do so much more. We have to tap into that. We have to make an investment in humanity. Otherwise, we can't solve racism. We can't solve the big issues like the shootings. They're ready to take all your freedoms away instead of just solving the issue that's causing it. The fact that humanity is not living a life worth living. So now they're upset. They're resentful. They know it could be better. They don't need me to tell them this. Sure, they could throw me off the air. It doesn't make it any less true. It's the truth still. The only thing they could do is address the truth and to react to it. And that's why I'm asking you, my fellow brothers and sisters, trust in your happy healer to do that job, because I will. And I won't let them get away with pooping on humanity anymore. And that will take care of the human being. So important. None of these other candidates have a plan for that. And for whatever they do want to do that you like so much, they won't even be able to get that done, because they don't have the unity to get anything done. And quite frankly, unless it's me that's the Democratic candidate, which essentially then I am guaranteed in, because I bring enough Trump people with me to do that, But I also bring unity and love, because the whole way, even for people that didn't vote for me, they will realize that love is so true, because the whole way, that is just the way I am. That is the way I operate. I put people above money. I put people above everything. That is God's greatest creation, is the humanity right here. Clearly, that's the case. And I make the case for God because I am a man of faith and I don't run from it. I don't plan on governing from that, like as if that is something to do. I believe in separation of church and state, but I also believe that we have to put value in humanity. And if we don't do that, we're going to be in bigger problems. So it is time for an epic candidacy, an epic presidency, to deal with epic times in America. That's why I called this cast epic, because it has to be epic, especially to beat Donald Trump, who likes to operate off of this like TV version of presidency, like a reality presidency. You better believe we better be epic and be able to steal his thunder. And imagine what I can do. I promise you, I'm not anywhere near what I'm capable of. What I need are people that are around me that are also equally fired up, that are driven, that are just like their happy healer. But all I am is a one-man show, folks. Imagine what we could do together. Imagine if there was 2 or 3 of me. Imagine just one other me right here. What can be done? What can be done, I'll tell you, would be amazing. Man, that would be so amazing. But just to get people that are even driven, to get people that care enough at this point. People are having the care driven out of them. It's for people like me to wake that up in them. And so I will. And I'll continue to drive this message forward and do all that I need to do to make it as epic as I possibly can. And by the way, doing it myself, I'm doing an amazing job. That's why I say, imagine what I could do as if I had more. Imagine what I could do. We could really serve the human cause then, couldn't we? And we're doing it now. And I say to my supporters, relax, relax. We're doing great. Just think about the future. Think about what we're doing now to be able to achieve that future. And nothing is a rush. Because when we overwork ourselves into a frenzy, then that's when we are weak. Take it from your happy healer. I know how to be strong even in weak times, because I rely on God. That's what I say. Faith is so important. See how it serves? Even when it's not, you separate church and state, faith still serves. It always serves. And that's why I think all of us need to be putting stock and value into humanity, because it's not an invisible value. That value means something, and it improves all lives. And when you improve the overall state of the human being, then you have a better human being. That's why I also say, when you're going out to date somebody, you won't have to automatically first ask, what do you do for a living? Because you know that you're going to have people that are following their passions on one end, and on the other end, you'll have people that are following a further. They want to be the ones supplying the needs of these people, and they'll get rewarded well for it, because there'll be a super class in this country of super consumer and also super producers, people that are actually working in capitalism now. I almost picture it like super capitalism, because it'll be so many more opportunities with people that can afford it, and you'll be serving humanity. People will be so much happier in that reality. They'll be able to live a life really worth living, but a life that they never even thought of possible, and that we can make it happen before even the older people now, before they pass on. We can give them this life and show them that it's happening. It's so important. And the younger people, oh yes, even the people my age, you know that you were promised this future. Why are you accepting less? Why? Do you like it like that? All you have are your weekends, and even then you barely have those, and they come and go so fast, don't they? You only get so many years on this planet. Is this what you thought you were going to be living? Is this your dream? Knowing we could do so much better. This is really the nightmare that we created for ourselves. You can't even go on that weekend without now being worried about being shot by all the people that are getting pissed on. It's not an excuse. When you get hurt, you got to just dig deeper and try harder. That's what your happy healer did. every time I was hurt. And we are talking about that. Like I said, I'll be having those videos coming out. There was Taj Jackson, who just made me his biggest victim. And I paid the price for that. Helping, loving, opening my door, saying, sure, you can come into my home. And I paid the price. And it's not the first one. I paid many, many times over to be a kind person. But you know what I get out of that? I get to know to myself that I did right. And almost that's why you should ever do it. But look at the person I am. It's actually something I can retain and own. Nobody could ever take that from me. And the beautiful thing about the media is it proves it. And so even then, when I didn't have a show, this is going back to 2017. It's quite a while. And you'll see. I'm going to show you the exact incident that I got in trouble over, and I'm going to show you how actually I was the victim in that situation. Not that I care about victimhood. Victimhood is crap. All of us are victims, really. We're victims of this reality, the way that they're doing things, that they don't put humanity first, that we all have to live in the aftermath of the problems that causes. We are all victims in a sense. So, folks, what I'd like to do now is put on this 20-minute video. It is Epic Times in America, what we can do, what we must do, and we must be brave enough to do it in the first place. Here goes nada. My ideology, if I have, is truth and love. So, of course, I make a lot of sense then. I am an honest broker of truth, and I always listen to perpetual reason. History demands a strong, steadfast leader and any good president in trying times. And right now, we are in trying, critical, and distressing times. And given our nation's extreme imbalance and misbalance, disunity, and unmeasurable consequences that are playing out every day, and new catastrophes evident in the human condition by the very nature of the cause and effects, to some of the most egregious and notoriously deadly human suffering and crisis gripping our nation. Everything from ill-related deaths to violence-related deaths, and human suffering can be greatly diminished, and life while alive can be greatly improved by simply giving value and purpose to each American. We know how grave our times are when untold millions are dying each year due to greedy people stuck in times long past and increasingly are responsible for a future not worthy of living. 40,000 deaths according to the New York Times from opioids, and that's far less. And that's by guns. And then opioids, you have even more. It literally starts with our greed, folks. It's so evil and so wrong. And when we say it's okay, even above humanity, even in this year, 2019, when so much is possible, it's just unconscionable to leave so many souls down the path of death when life is so easily possible and preferred and more urgently required now than ever before. Why empower the same people that got us in this mess? It's been caused by our current leadership. Trust in your happy healer. Let us not get so focused on revenge either. It's pointless. And virtually everybody are victims, and our only hope is to rebuild from the ashes a new life worthy of living, or die in the hell that we've created. For those of you who think that this is your only life, you of all people should want to make this the best you can be, so you should go with your happy healer, because that's exactly what we are going to do. Drug overdoses killed more than 72,000 people in the United States last year, and it's a deadly opioid epidemic. And this is according to the Centers of Disease Control. They estimate 72,287 people died just in 2017, which is an increase in 10% from the year before. It's so problematic and scary to the human condition, yet one that gets right to the core of our human mission. With numbers these bad, it tells us several things. We have to make incremental changes, and that we have to stay consistent, and quite frankly, to ignore is the definition of insanity. And to recognize, and then yet to apply the wrong fix is even worse, because it's false hope in place of real hope, instead of giving proof to real hope and a reason to atone, which proves positive. The need and the essential change is long overdue. It must be made available to the American people so that they can become made aware, because no one else is much talking about these grave times that which we speak here. That's why our messages of hope for the sustainable answers that they hold get to the firmament and get to the ether to open the eyes in humanity. Otherwise, just give in to a destiny of our own making. That's why our campaign holds the fundamental needs of the great messages of your happy healer with just one of us with some interest. We need a world worth living in for the death that we see and the real life suffering, untold death, so much untold misery, and the lack of health coverage. Humanity, all humanity, needs a safety net. They need a free, high quality and technologically advanced medical and income for all and education for all that inspires millions to live out the purpose of life and the human journey. We sail on into the future in our times with a new sense of hope and purpose, and we inspire a nation to hope and greatness. Why is this needed? And times demand it so badly, so completely, so in our face. We can't help but to see it every time we hear the latest tragedy. Have you also noticed the increasing number of new tragedies that are unique to our time, yet so many are blind to these alarming statistics that just continuously rise each year? That is a concern for your happy healer. We have to be better at this game called life. The numbers are right there, and if you clear your mind, and if you set a healthy mindset, it's easy to see so, and to change to be otherwise, and yet to not even notice, and that's the time we live in, the time of death. It shows every time we see these shootings and worse. Have you ever stopped to think of these times that the people that you're propping up and the connections that they have and the people they're hanging out with and what they're trying to accomplish, what makes them tick, what motivates them, what are their aspirations, what do they look up to? All of these things matter, and getting used to these consequences are just not the way Americans need to be living. We're getting away from the way we need to be. We have to connect the dots. It's always greed, folks. We're corrupted by it. People, a pure soul can be corrupted by seeing the seriousness of our times, the greed. You gotta have the purpose and value and the truth, justice, and the American way to pull you out of that. It's gotta be love, and it's gotta be given by an honest broker of truth, and it's gotta be teaching that love never ends. That's why your happy healer is running for president, and that's what you have to compare the other candidates against. And unless you have done that, you have not been fair to our freedoms, our lives, and our future, let alone our country and our land. We have one future and one life. We better take care of it, or we will all pay that price. Future confessions in a past not met or any other kinds of I told you so's are cheap and only serve for an educational purpose and often are way too late. And besides, I hate saying that anyway. We need to get to the work now and improve lives in real, measurable ways, accountable to the grave challenges rising all around us, yet not being dealt with. It's unfathomable. And I think people will think later when it happens. How were so many asleep? People said that after 9/11, let's not make stupid mistakes and relive it over again. Let's learn from our past. I say, let's have the courage of the hero of Flight 93. His courageous words of Todd Beamer. And he said, and it shadows in comparison to the moment that we have now. He said, let's roll. And that was capable of defeating the real threats then. We have to do it now too. If one can marry strong essential leadership characteristics coupled with a strong sense of faith in our future, answering to the true cause of human suffering and what's really holding us back, and if any of this is ever to have a shot of actually doing some good for the American people and solving problems, then we are going to need a leader that is strong, that's wise, intelligent, with a diverse perspective, ranging with a creative perspective of relatable Americans. I meet those in so many ways. I have such a diverse background, and that story will be unfolding more as this campaign progresses. And I've said it in the past. We have lots to go over, that's for sure. Not often does a candidate is seemingly built for the times to emerge to run, but yet I have so many factors that point to my run that this is the right thing for me to be doing in my life, and so therefore I really feel like I am living my fate in the moment, and that is serving a greater call than self-serving in these greatest times. And should we fail now, I know that truth because I have seen the truth so clearly. It's almost like I've seen it already. And when we're not prepping or doing anything to do better, to be better, we are failing miserably, and yet the answer is right here. I promise to take us on the journey of human enlightenment the world over. We will learn to love for the first time and write in our laws, and we start teaching young, and we never stop, and we provide for each other a $5,000 monthly allowance for a family of 4 and a head of household is to get $2,500 per month stipend. We have to start with the most vulnerable first. After it's complete, then the entire population will be on this program, or will be benefiting in it in too numerous ways not to consider it. It'll change society and say life matters in a way that we have gifted back in our time to humanity. the best and gives to the most affected first. Those who are homeless and without jobs and underemployed or otherwise working thankless jobs. Doing so would be an immediate raise for those left working. And living conditions for everyone improve on day one and only get better as we go about the tough work and building our new society, a better one, a one that puts humanity first, above capitalism. We must make folks realize this is happening to benefit the human cause which is suffering, and that this is the solution that we all seek and need, that we now found in the happy healer for president. That's why I tell you, vote Landi for Democrat, because I've learned the essential ingredients for a long time growing businesses, and successfully later I learned my faith and never having had the honor and privilege of being a father. Yet I'm sure I would have made a great father, but maybe one day, and still may. I look forward to that perhaps. However, right now, I feel as though I am on a strong rendezvous with fate. Hardly and partly because I am confident in what I am doing, and also because I have a clear vision for our future, one that I feel if we don't adhere to, we'll miss out on the important life-sustaining measures that we must take in order to survive and for America to lead the free world in the future. But one thing that I'll never be told is that it can't be done, because I know it can be done. That is the biggest lie I have ever heard. The value of all things are in the minds. And you have to be kidding yourselves if you're missing placing value on the various human soul, when human commerce is actually there to serve the human value. You have to get a true sense and purpose of human value, and you have to realize that professionals in various fields of studies, including doctors and scientists, have agreed that such an approach would allow perceived growth in difficult times, such as allowing entrepreneurs the ability to follow their path, their fate, rather than their greed, which in turn delivers more to the human experience. My plan increases human happiness and allows the human soul to grow as it pushes. And it confronts evil and greed, making a possibility of unity in America not only a possibility, but a guarantee. It's the only logical choice, because it's the only way to get unified, and it's the only possible way Lady Liberty will ever see unity again, perhaps, before our what seems to be inevitable downfall. Why must it? Because unity is a required ingredient for every state to succeed, and yet we are so polarized, no side can get anything done, and President Trump will be seen as a lame duck and a bigger threat to society. You've got to put somebody in there that you trust with your life, with all of our lives, because all of our lives count on it, and that's why you owe it to yourself to count and to vote for your happy healer, Keith Landi, for president. Everything's at stake right now, folks. Everything. I say we have to usher in the great new technological age, where new technologies are taking over industry and robotics. Instead of putting people in factories, we can provide people their time back so they can work on humanity. That is not taking for all the humanity that is suffering through suicide, and it's not fair. It's simply unacceptable of smart adults to do that. We can do so much better. Please listen to your happy healer on this. Truth wants to be seen. It loves light. Our current way of doing business is not even sustainable for another decade. Even less smart people get this, and they can't understand how we can avoid it at this point. But we can't, I tell you. Oh, yes, we can. That's why I'm running. I have the faith, I have the answers. It will set us free, and it is so simple. And you already do them yourself, too. You just needed somebody else to say it so that you can agree also. And then you'll know the truth when you hear it. And so I speak to you because I have been in your shoes likely at some point in my life, and I know you very well. And what is true about me is in many ways is true about all of us. And I will peel back that onion more and more in this campaign, and with it, a better understanding and a deeper appreciation of the task of our candidacy, but also our confidence in the answers that are best suitable for our times that just keeps rising. The idea is to gain faith. I always come with proof, creativity, honesty, and new ways of getting things done. I love all, and I don't need to have the best ideas or even be the best. I just need to be my best and let the best ideas win for America and for our lives. I know I have the right sense for our times, and really, I know who to surround myself with to bring this change about. When you empower me, you trust me, and it's a solemn oath. I am assured to open my heart in ways and show you who I am to my core, so that you can support your people's candidate for President of the United States precisely for the right reasons. Because there is only one truth, and only one candidate speaking to that truth. And so therefore, there is only one candidate so unrealistically and uniquely qualified and about it and so many reasons too numerous to count, but yet at current intervals, we will get this work done. This will help save the environment when we get people off the roads, and when we get people an income for all, we give them back their time, and indeed it'll become a necessity to work on our humanity then and therefore. And we must get to work fast, folks, when we deal with the greed in our lives, which we have been making a main staple in this program lately because we have to work on and fix our greed, and there is no better time than the present to do that in this show, which is measurable by our ability to take care of humanity in America. Acknowledge our shortcomings and limitations. Many people are dying in the streets without a place to live, and with their sustenance not met, with their body and health and the very nature of time becoming less, and it's extinguished every day just like that. And it's persistent and commonplace. There are so many uninsured, like myself, who day in and day out are watching and seeing as though there is nothing they can do about it. And if they just had help, they can continue serving their God-given purpose and talent, their fate serving humanity. I want to change the life in humanity, and that's where I'm at. And there is no greater qualified candidate than your happy healer for president. We must now take a pledge. Show your support by signing up for the newsletter and create an account on the page and start donating. Get as many people as you can involved, and I'll be working each day for a future that we can all be proud of. I believe in my candidacy, and I believe I have this in the bag. And quite frankly, of all who are running and the president himself, nobody can offer us what we need, and that's why they are all disqualified. A required metric to make a solid prospects in our humanity, and I will unite this humanity if it kills me, because quite frankly, we all have our lives on the line, and China is stepping forward into that technological world that we are ignoring. They're getting things done. They're not asking for or waiting for permission. They are just going hard and fast, ever quicker. The better they get at it. They've already transported subatomic particles from Earth to outer space. Yes, that is right, as in teleportation. It already exists. It's not just theory. It's now fundamental science. And the Chinese are doing it, and they're working on quantum computing, which itself is, with artificial intelligence, a new industry. It's so powerful and strong, it'll bring a new industry. That science refers to as the singularity, which is no less a theory than any other probable theory. Well, the world is getting smarter and smarter, while America possesses the capacity to outdo them all, is slowly moving like molasses in an area of national security, while China is moving so fast and so rapid, it's putting out 5G and electrical buses, while we're pulling people out of their homes and into factories when robots could be doing that work, and we could be better for it. They should be home and pursuing purpose that gives value to their human being. This adds value to the very human soul, and in so many ways, that alone has a monetary value. Humanity working for humanity and out of love is very powerful. And when you show you care, it opens the door for solving serious issues. However, one must be very pragmatic and have a clear sense. I do. And that is why I am most qualified to be your next president. Vote for your happy healer, Keith Landi, for President of the United States of America. And I will take great care of all of our family's needs. My name is Keith Landi for President of the United States. Get involved, do your part. Let's not have a reason to be sorry. Let's have a reason to be grateful. God bless you. God bless your families too. And may God bless these United States of America. Good night. These United States of America. And so time now is 10:42 p.m. Welcome back. This is the live portion. You had just gone through the pre-recorded part, and I do love putting those out there because we have to keep things epic. And I have so many other things that we're going to be putting out there. So just you stick with this show if you have just started or found this show or stumbling upon it. This is so much more than a show. We are running for President of the United States, and perhaps the only candidate that is talking about unity in our time in a realistic way. You hear Joe Biden say, yes, we need unity. Americans know we need unity, but none of these guys have a true and sincere plan to bring it. And I'm listening to your comments. I want to hear them. Anybody who's watching, if you think that any candidate, pick the candidate that you think best would serve the needs of the American people and tell me their plan for unity. I want to hear the realistic plan, because I have a realistic plan for unity. Half of my supporters are already Republican, the other half are Democrat. That's just the way it'll always be, because I'm working for this country to step up and do it. We have to serve ourselves in a way that we have never done before. So that is why it's so incredibly important. That is why I'm doing this stuff that I'm doing, selling my home and taking it so seriously and making big changes in my life. I lost 120 pounds. That didn't come by serving greed, folks. That came by passion. It came because I realized I had to take leadership in my own life. And that failure to do that, it wouldn't serve the needs that I had to stay alive. I had to do it so many times. And this country is no different. A $5,000 monthly allowance for every American family of four, $2,500 for a head of household. That allows you to also work on your humanity, just like I have done. It allows you to work on your fate. If you know you're meant to do something, but you have been on the wrong path for so long, it means, well, you can get on the right path. And when you serve humanity on the right path, it is so much more valuable. That is so true. And you shine, just like your happy healer does. I'm a 40-year-old man. You don't get to look like this by playing their games. You have to believe. And yet it's still not easy, because guess what? Just the last program, and I just can't say it enough. We need to take care of our people. Health care, I'm without it too. And dental care, and vision, and all of the stuff that is life-sustaining. Food and a roof over your head. That is a right for every American, because every American pitched into the American exceptionalism that is America. To put it any other way is to sell people off cheap. It's the reason for the school shootings. It's the reason for the mass shootings. It's the reason for everything. And we're putting our kids in such a hateful world. There used to never be all these kids that were so angry. You know, back when I was growing up, you did not talk back to your parents, right? And I'm only 40. That was not too long ago. But yet, things have changed so much. And the qualifications for president, so condescending. It seems like that's the only real qualification, just to be condescending. And that's exactly how they all are. They're way up here, so condescending. And how come it was that Mayor Pete, when he was questioned in his own state, by his own people in his own city, in fact, okay? And they were saying to him, how come you didn't lead when it was right, Mayor Pete, and you expect to be the president, and you want my vote? And he said, I'm not here asking for your vote. Oh, really? Well, I'm asking for it, ma'am. If you're listening, I am your happy healer for President Keith Landi. I care about you. I want your vote. I realize your plight. I realize my own plight and the plight of my neighbors, and I will serve you as I serve the human cause. If you want to get rid of racism, it's not by taking a big old magnifying glass and telling us all how different we are. It's by realizing that we're the spirit within, and how magical we are, and how much we have so much value, because we have a creator that we love and that loves us back, and that we value each other, because we all know that each of us are a gift from God to each other, and we treat each other like that. And that puts value in the human being. That's leadership, showing to get that done. Yang, you have some great ideas, man. I like the idea that you want to give people $1,000 stipend and you call it the freedom dividend. That's fine. Call it what you want. And the truth is, it's the right thing to do. It doesn't go far enough. And you're taking things away from people to do that. And you're not very good as far as leadership skills, sir. A lot of people, they see that in you. They see that you're like a dork, a lot like me, except for that you lack the ability to step up when it's and be strong. Do you know what? Donald Trump is a strong guy. You have to be able to look in his eyes and tell him what he has promised and failed to do for us. I voted for him and I could prosecute that case. I want to hear about Yang. How are you going to get the Trump people? How are you going to do that, sir? I don't think you can. And I know that you cannot. And I know that Mayor Pete cannot. And I know that Biden can't. So again, folks, if you have the right ideas, I'm listening and I want to hear from you. What and how can your favorite candidate of choice, if it is not yours truly, your happy healer for president, how can they achieve unity? That's the big question coming out of today's cast. How can they achieve unity? Leave it in the comments, and I want to hear about that. We're getting ready to close out soon, but I just want to talk about a few more things because we also have Cory Booker. Gosh, talk about a guy with a deep voice, but no deep mind. He is still, once again, who's wrong? The white people are wrong. No, nobody. Actually, everybody is victims. Everybody's wrong, which kind of makes nobody wrong. We all need to realize that we have a future worth fighting for if we make that future. And what they're doing is they're taking life. They're saying, for you, life can't be good. Okay, it's got to suck for you, so this way it could be good for this one. And because it's been so good for you for so long, you're done. But you can start having a decent life. But guess what? Neither one of them get that because you got the wrong prescription, my friends. You can't pick and choose who is God's favorite. You can't pick and choose who gets to have a good life. We all are deserving of that, and then we all rise together. And that's the problem with bringing in more and more people. These Democratic candidates are so lost. We have people here now that are suffering. I get that plight as my tooth falls out during the last cast. I realize we need health care and that these guys aren't caring. They want to bring more people in, which means less money to go around for those who are here because those people coming in, virtually 100% of them need money. They need sustenance, just like we do. In fact, they're not leaving many times from hell or from something scary that's trying to kill them. And what is killing them is their lack of sustenance, the same thing that's killing us. Why are we bringing people in that are lacking their sustenance to just have them come here for sustenance? We're losing our own life and value. The people that are here, Americans who have been Americans for many generations, and they're dying with lack of sustenance. And you want to bring more people in? Look, if it was only about the racist question or about being a kind guy and we can afford it and everybody's living a great life, well then fine. But that's a different conversation. But we're so far from there. So we have to keep it epic and realize when I get on the debate stage, it's going to be your happy healer present. I am in your happy healer mode now because we have to speak truth to power. We can't be afraid to say, oh, well, we can't say the truth to the people who need to hear it the most because we are too weak on the inside. We know that we're allowed to say the truth. Why? Is because we are saying the truth, folks. The truth has to matter. You can say it. You can't be in trouble for saying the truth, but we do it with love. And it's that love that carries us. It's that strength that gets everything done. I am a progressive candidate. I'm a 40-year-old gay man, and I know we can push the bar in so many ways. Just by the very nature of my candidacy, it almost seems like God has set me up for this role. So, folks, get involved. I cannot hear you, so make yourself heard. Many of you guys are following the campaign, but you don't say much. But you know what I hear? I hear the people who are stepping up. They ask questions. I hear when I see those donations. I hear when I see that. I know you're trying to be the best part of it. And, you know, I love giving credit to those folks who deserve it. I have some supporters that have, if without their help, I would have been unable to be active for the last 2 weeks. It's been so tough on your happy healer because I make sacrifices and I dig deep just like I'm selling my home. If it weren't for the things that they're doing, it would have been impossible for me to keep my lights on. So people are stepping up. And Brenda, you know who you are. You have played a big role in your happy healers run for president. And I really appreciate your role in that. Without it, we wouldn't be able to be doing this cast right now. Go get that. So why is so much got to be on just some people who realize how important it is, the things we're doing, while other people, they don't get involved in all, or they make excuses. Oh, I'm already spoken for. I got Trump, or I got this candidate or that candidate. They're not planning unity. They're planning lining their own pockets and the pockets of billionaires. America, whenever it has an upswing, it's making more billionaires and more multi-billionaires, while people like you and I don't have our dental. All we need is our sustenance and we can fly. They don't want us flying. They like their class war. They like that so many of us look up to them like gods. Let me tell you, I'm not running as your condescending candidate. Your happy healer for president wants nothing more than to make you proud. I want to empower you. I want to help you live the life that you know you are meant to be on this earth to live the fade out that you are meant to live, not to tell you how to live like these other candidates, not to tell you who you are, but for you to be the person you know you are meant to be and to live your fate doing it. These guys don't want to give you that. They just want to give you excuses and lies, and they want to try and package it up as great as possible, and then they want to sail forward and bring their own status to the highest office in the nation. I recognize that it comes with a great power to be in that position. That's not why I am here. I will do good with it when I have it. And it's because of those reasons and all of these reasons that I am telling you right now, people like that are the people who deserve it, because they're going to do good with it. It's the people that are so eager for it, that don't look at the facts, that ignore the truth, ignore the tough times, and they just answer to their own greedy ambition and the greediness of the world instead of fixing that problem. We know that we have to take greed and say, you know what? You worked for a long time, greed, and it's a bad thing. We really went to something bad to make this all work. It's what capitalism is, but it was great while it was there because it got us to where we are. Capitalism is a great way of doing things, and that it's a compromise. That's one of the things I spoke to the gentleman about this evening. He said, you got to have a compromise. And I said, that's exactly right. People get that. This is a guy who I suspect was a Trump supporter, the way he was talking. In fact, I know it, except for that he didn't say that. Okay? So here are the facts. They're with us. Democrats, we can win this, but you have to put somebody forward who has real plans for success and for unity. We all want unity. You get it? And none of them supply it. None of them. They don't have it. We shall see you very soon right here. Check out all of the other programs. If you're just getting on board with us, make sure you get involved in this campaign. Make sure I can hear you, because that's important. Make sure the other supporters can hear you, and that's by getting involved and talking and by donating. I'll be reporting these numbers, and by the way, they are modest numbers, and realize most of that is just on one person. We'll see you next time.